I'd like to start this video off by saying Happy New Year, you lovers of speed, you petrol heads, you people who are just like me who can't help but push the limits. Welcome to 2026 and welcome to the first episode of Sanctifier Motoring in this glorious year. And I can't think of a better way to start off than with the most powerful four-cylinder engine ever put in a production car. Not that, this. This is the Mercedes AMG CLA45S. Let's get into it.
When the Mercedes AMG CLA45 first hit the streets in 2013, it did the unthinkable. It proved that a four-cylinder could be a legitimate supercar slayer. Fast forward to today, and we're behind the wheel of the 2025 CLA45S, the most refined, tech-heavy version of this pocket rocket yet. The original first-gen C117 launched with the M133 engine, which was, at the time, the world's most powerful production four-cylinder, starting at 355 horsepower and later jumping to 375. It was raw, loud, and redefined what a compact performance sedan could be. In 2020, everything changed with the C118. We got the legendary M139 engine, 416 horsepower, and the insane drift mode thanks to the 4MATIC Plus system. It wasn't just faster, it was smarter, swapping a cramped interior for the sleek dual-screen MBUX setup. Now, in 2025, the CLA45S is more polished than ever. It's ditched the old trackpad for a cleaner, touch-driven cabin and standardized that massive 416 horsepower output. It's a 0 to 60 in 4-second machine that's equally happy as a daily driver or a track weapon. But with a price tag pushing past 1.5 million rand, is it still the king of the compact class? Let's find out.
Now, the hardest thing about driving around in a Mercedes AMG CLA45S is actually driving it in comfort. But for the sake of the review, I have to do it so I can give you guys a more comprehensive experience with the car. We'll get to the bang stuff in a bit. I just want to talk about what it's like to live with on a day-to-day basis. And what's very interesting is that my first encounter with this car was when I did my Mercedes AMG level 1 and level 2 driving experience. We were on SWAT Corps, we were surrounded by some professionals who were guiding us to extract the most out of this platform. And there's a lot to extract. Like I said earlier, this car has the most powerful four-cylinder engine ever put in a performance car, any production car actually, to correct myself there. It produces 310 kilowatts and 500 Newton meters of torque. I launched it. It does 0 to 100 in 4.05 seconds. Mercedes claimed 4.1 seconds, so I beat them to it by what, half a second there. What's interesting though is that the E53 AMG that I had towards the end of last year did 0 to 100 on the same road in 3.8 seconds. So that's not a crazy gap in terms of performance, well, straight line performance at least, considering how vastly different these two cars are. So I think that's a nod to the CLA45S. It's a very capable car, and you'll see that in just a second. But from where I'm sitting right now in comfort mode, there's a lot to love. Mercedes have been these purveyors of the digital renaissance that we've come to love. Some people don't really appreciate it so much, but there's no getting around the fact that there's a lot of tech when it comes to a modern Mercedes, and specifically in the AMGs as well. I've got this AMG dual spoke steering wheel in front of me that has two knobs. The one on the right is what I use to control my driving mode, and the one on the left helps me control my start stop functionality, traction control, as well as turning on the active sound. Got two screens in front of me. The first one gives me my driver information and the other is an infotainment screen, but there's lots of ambient lighting and it's got this very beautiful yellow contrast stitching, which I'll show you once we're parked. And I mean, overall, it's a Mercedes-Benz. You're gonna love the experience. The drive is really, really good. I should let you know though, in the CLA45, you do get slightly less sound deadening, but that's a small compromise to make when you consider the amount of performance that you're getting. You also have adaptive dampers. In the comfort mode rather, it's quite good. You're gonna coast through, you're gonna feel a little bit of the bumps here and there, but if the road is perfectly smooth, it drives almost as good as a C-Class, I would say. But once you put it in Sports Plus, which is what I'm about to do now, you see, the active noise starts getting pumped in a little bit. The revs start moving a little bit higher. I've got a little bit more feedback from the suspension because it's a bit stiffer. And when I put my foot down, it responds. It takes about half a second for it to shift down. But as soon as it does that, my goodness, you're going straight to jail. That's the kind of performance we're getting out of here. And I mean, even if you chuck it into a corner at high speed, it'll hug the bend. And this is something I appreciated when I was in the Mercedes AMG E53. It did the cornering stuff very good. And I think the reason that one was particularly impressive was because of how heavy it was. Over here, the car's lighter, so I expect it to handle better, and handle better it does. There's a little bit of traffic, so I'm gonna have to slow down for a bit, but that gives me an opportunity to speak about the brakes. It stops on a dime, and when it stops, it downshifts really nicely. But the upshifts, oh my goodness, that's 103rd gear, that's a warning, that's straight to jail again. See, and that's the thing. Can you drive a modern Mercedes normally on the road? Well, you can normally, but if you're putting it under load like I am right now, you're gonna have to make sure you're in a very quiet place. These things are quick, a bit too quick for the road, I would say, but who's ever complained about having too much power? Let's just stop on the side for a second so I can run you through some of the infotainment screen functionalities, features of the interior of the car, and let's have a look at the exterior as well. I love this thing. Folks, before we continue with this video, I think it's super important that we thank the people that made it possible. And that is none other than Mercedes-Benz Vanderboom. They gave us the CLA45 AMG for us to use. And the first episode of 2026 on the Scientify Motoring page wouldn't be possible without them. If you ever find yourself in Pretoria North, and even if you're not around the area, do yourself a favor and pay them a visit. They've got a wide selection of brand new and used Mercedes-Benz models and even some AMGs in there for you speed freaks. Tell them Bongani sent you and they might give you a good price, but if they don't, the coffee's on them. Back to the video. You see, the CLA45S showed me that dynamite really does come in small packages. If you look at its competitors like the BMW M2 and the Audi RS3, this has 2 cylinders less than the M2 and 1 cylinder less than the RS3. Now the RS3 drives like it's on rails, but I feel like at times it can be a little bit bland. The M2 sits on the very opposite end of that spectrum. That car feels like it's trying to kill you. Then you have the CLA45S, which has the least number of cylinders, yet you can't really tell from a performance point of view. I love the fact that it has AMG's 4MATIC system. It's great. It does an incredible job at putting the power down. Even under rainy circumstances, it's really good. The steering wheel feel too is absolutely incredible. You can take bends at speeds that I cannot tell you on camera because I do not want to go to jail because I am a good Christian boy. So let's talk about the styling. First of all, this car is in spectral blue, which is a great color choice in my opinion. It is an optional extra, I believe, but you can inquire with Mercedes-Benz Vanderboom if you are interested in this car or if you want to spec your own. I see why they call it a baby AMG GT 4-door, especially with the combination of this Panamericana grille and these updated daytime running lights. It does look like a smaller version of the car. And if we drop slightly a bit, you'll notice that this black running in around the entirety of the front end over there. I like it. It breaks up the color and it's a really good contrast for the car. And this is by far one of my favorite things. This car has aero. It looks sharp, it looks mean, it looks aggressive, but also that's functional. If we look at the wheels, these are 19 inches all around, wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport 4Ss. And what's very interesting is that when you are doing speeds that bring you closer to God, the only thing connecting you, the car, and the ground is this little bit of rubber there. So it's important to make sure that you partner up with the right people. And I love the fact that they chose Michelin. I love this brand. They're really, really awesome at what they do. If you move over to the side, you'll notice that it has that turbo badge with the 4MATIC Plus system. And now what's really nice about this car is that it has a drift mode. We can't engage it because it's not our car and we don't have a place to do that. But believe me, this car will go sideways. Love the black mirror caps. They do, like I said, contrast, and you'll notice that that's a theme that goes around the mirrors, the B pillars as well, and then that's broken up by the door handles, which have a nice feature where you can just put your thumb over there and it'll lock and unlock. And if I've got the key on me, it'll open up. The sloping roofline, very unique to the CLA. I dig it. Four-door coupe, very nice touch from them. And then if you move over here to the back, you get this really big piano black wing, completes the rear end of the car. I dig it. And because it's the full-blown 45, you get quad exhaust pipes, as well as this diffuser over here. I'm not sure how functional that is, but it does look good. Oh, and if you kick your foot under there, it'll open up to a trigger there. That's really, really nice from Mercedes. Let's head over to the inside. You know what I just realized about the Mercedes-AMG CLA45S? It has no grab handles, which you would expect from a car that can do the speeds that this one does. Very interesting choice from Mercedes. I wonder if those are optional extras or if it just doesn't come with those. If you know, let us know in the comment section. But there are some cool things happening back here. I mean, as per usual, as you would expect, you do get an armrest that pops out from the center of the back row with some cup holders, enough to hold a can of Red Bull or something like that. These pop back in and it goes up. Not too much else to say besides the fact that you get some vents for your climate control, although I do not have the option to control it myself. All of that happens in the front, and I do get one Type-C charger port in there. It would have been nice if it had two, because I mean, if you're carrying two people in the back, they might squabble about it. But I'm not here to nitpick on like small things that don't really affect the grander scheme of things. You do have ISOFIX points for those of you who are brave enough to have a child in this economy. I love the fact that you get yellow contrast stitching in the seats, and that carries over into the front and the rest of the interior as well. You also have contrasting leather, which does a great job of breaking up the black, and it's a really nice thing to look at. But besides that, there's not too much going on. You have some netting over here like you would find in many other cars, but I love that you have a gaping hole so that you can tickle the driver. The sloping roofline would be an issue for people who are slightly taller. I'm not very tall. I think I'm like 165. So if you're like 175, 18, dude, you're going to be squeezed in here. But I'm telling you this, you have more space in this than you would in the M2. So you know what, appreciate what you can. But I think the RS3, specifically the hatch, has a bit more headroom than this one. That's pretty much it for the back seat. Let's head over into the front. This is where you're going to be spending most of your time if you were to buy a CLA45S. If you're a gadget head like myself, you'll appreciate the fact that there's so much technology, there's lots to do, lots to keep you entertained, and lots to control. I like that kind of stuff, and I know it can be overwhelming for some people, but each to their own. One really nice thing is that if you've driven one AMG, you can drive them all. The functionality remains the same. For starters, I have 4 sort of wings that pop out of here like a dragonfly from the center of the steering wheel over here. The top left one controls this infotainment screen. This one is for my volume, voice control, and calling functionality. On the bottom right, I have my driver assistance features, and on the top right, I can control the driver screen over here. Now, these two are separated by some piano black trim. I look forward to the day where it can be one continuous thing, because I think that'll look very, very nice. But you do have piano black surrounding the vents that sort of trickles into the center console over here, and where it meets your center storage console over here. If I open this up, there's not too much space, but you can fit an entire bottle, which gives you an idea of the depth. I like the fact that you have 2 Type-C charging ports, so I suppose one of your passengers in the back can use this because there's only one back there. I love the fact that you also get this contrast stitching that it gets extended into the front of the car as well. You see it on the seats as well, which are very supportive and comfortable too. And these are two-tone, slightly darker color on the outside, slightly lighter color on the inside. And then, like I said, you have that yellow contrast stitching, which is very nice. Quick word of advice from me, at least. We did have a W205 C200 at home when I was growing up, and it also had piano black trim just like this one. My advice is that you PPF this thing as soon as you get the car because I can guarantee you it will scratch. It's very hot in here, so just bear with me for a second. I love the fact that you have this AMG logo on the passenger side of the dash, as well as this perforated leather. Over here, the leather is not perforated, but you also get the yellow contrast stitching. This looks like aluminium. I'm not sure if it actually is. No, it isn't. But then you also get some ambient lighting, which makes this car look like a spaceship at night. But by far, the best ambient lighting that I've seen on any Mercedes would have to be the E53. Well, E-Class in general, actually. It's got this super screen that actually, like, it curves around. It is super, super cool. Go check that YouTube video out. Like I said, it's a very tech-first interior. I have two dials down here. The one on the right controls my drive mode, and you'll notice that as I rotate between the different drive modes, it also shows up over here as the dynamic selection option. I can change the AMG dynamics from master to pro to advanced and even basic, and then the engine can go from race, dynamic, sport, and even normal as well. If I press home, you get MBUX's system, but you also have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Over here with the driver screen, I can actually change the view I have. At the current moment, I have it in Super Sport, but you can go to Sport, and then you can also go to Classic, Understated, and Navigation, which is one of my absolute favorites because it overlays like the entire map on the screen, so you don't have to move between places. And if you want to see your rev counter and your speed, you can use this screen as well, but also you have a heads-up display, which is very nice from them. Also, the ambient lighting lights up the vents as well. So at night, this car looks absolutely awesome. Whenever I bring up Mercedes AMG in my motoring communities, people are quick to bring up the fact that, oh, they don't do the 6.2-liter V8s anymore. And listen to me, I missed that era too, but the fact of the matter is things have changed. Technology has advanced, and you don't need that many cylinders to extract performance out of a car. Case in point, the C63 SE Performance. It's quick, and I mean, listen, it'll run circles around the previous generation C63, even though it has a four-cylinder engine. The same record-breaking four-cylinder engine that is found in the CLA45. And I mean, to take it one step further, I think if you took this CLA45 and you put it up against a W204 C63 AMG, this would win in a straight line, even though it has half the number of cylinders. And that's thanks to the four-wheel drive system and better tuning of the engine and how it delivers its power. I mean, you saw now, on the road, it's very balanced. The brakes are good. I think the brakes on this are actually better than the brakes on the E53. And I mean, in the spectral blue color, with all the aggressive aero and the black contrasting against the blue, it looks the business too. Don't sleep on Mercedes AMG. I think they still make some very, very cool cars. And this is case in point. I love the fact that even at the lowest, and I use the term low in quotation marks because there's nothing small about this car, in the lowest line of AMGs compared to cars like the GT63 SE Performance, this baby CLA45 still leaves me feeling like I've got more than enough. It's a brilliant car, Oaks. I've never felt shortchanged in an AMG, and this one hasn't changed anything about that statement.